Now, it's been 3 years since the Taliban re-established control over Afghanistan. Now, a visa program for Afghans who worked for German institutions in Afghanistan is about to end, leaving many Afghan nationals in uncertainty. When the Taliban seized control from the democratically elected government in 2021, there were scenes of chaos as Afghans tried to flee. Germany promised visas to thousands of people who had worked for civil society groups and were considered to be at risk of Taliban revenge. But the program only took in about 600 people and is now shutting down for good. That's left more than 5,000 Afghans with an uncertain future. They include numerous former Afghan judges who were recently refused visas by Germany, they say without justification. Our next report looks into one such story.
Stuck in uncertainty. This Afghan judge, whose identity we're protecting for his own safety, says that if the German government had not rejected his visa application, he would now be in Germany with his family.
I emailed the German Development Agency, GIZ, asking for the reason behind the rejection of my case. Unfortunately, I did not get a reply. GIZ repeatedly stated that it was the embassy's decision. But we have no contact with the German embassy because GIZ is in contact with us and with the embassy.
According to this Afghan judge, the families of all the Afghan judges were staying in hotels funded by the German government through GIZ. However, when their visas were rejected, they were also evicted from the hotels, and they now live in rented houses.
We rented a room in one of Islamabad's suburbs. And as you can see, there's not much in the room. We don't even have anything to cover the floor. I could not afford to live with my family here, so I sent them back to Afghanistan. I had to be separated from my family. It was a tragic moment in my life. This is the first time I've been separated from my family.
After the Taliban took control of Kabul, Afghanistan's former judicial system was replaced by the Taliban's Sharia system. The Taliban replaced the judges, prosecutors and professional staff of the Ministry of Justice with their own people, all graduates of religious schools. Like many other employees of the former system, the judicial and legal staff sought asylum in other countries.
We asked the German federal government not to reject asylum cases based on minor and unjustified reasons known only to them, because asylum seekers have no other option. Asylum seekers face security threats and are helpless. That's why they seek protection in different countries. It's unfair to approve a case at the essential stage only to reject it later and crush our hopes.
And there's no end in sight to the uncertainty for this former judge and others like him, as funds for Germany's resettlement programme may be cut.
Now, joining me now is the reporter Ahmad Hakimi from DW's Dari Pashto service. Ahmad, thousands of Afghans who worked for Germany had been promised a new life here, but very few have actually made it out of Afghanistan. How is Germany's visa program being viewed at the moment?
Well, it's a complex situation. Germany's federal admission program for Afghanistan was launched in 2022, was aimed at bringing up to 36,000 vulnerable people from Afghanistan to safety in Germany. However, progress has been very slow. According to advocacy group, by July 2024, only 540 individuals have arrived under the program, and while around 3,000 people have received approval to enter, some individuals who were initially approved for the admission have now been rejected due to changing policies and delays. Meanwhile, advocacy groups are raising alarms about this, emphasizing that any further delays could endanger lives. They are calling on the German government to accelerate the process and honor the commitment made by the coalition government.
Now, the federal visa program was introduced with great fanfare 2 years ago. Now it's budget could be entirely eliminated. What does that mean for people like the judge, for example, we just saw in the report?
As you also mentioned, the federal admission program for Afghanistan faces now a significant threat due to planned budget cuts by the German government. If the proposed reduction of over 60 million euros in 2025 goes through, it would effectively mean the end of the program for individuals like the Afghan judge mentioned in the report. This potential budget cut means also that their hopes of finding safety and protection in Germany could be dashed. Advocacy groups are urgently calling for the government to not only maintain but increase funding for this program. The elimination of or severe reduction of this program would have many people would leave many people vulnerable. They can't stay in third countries because their financial resources has dried up, and most of them, to whom we have already spoken, have sold all their belongings back in Afghanistan with hopes to be resettled in Germany.
Now, has public sentiment here regarding Afghanistan changed in the last 3 years?
I would say yes. Public sentiments in Germany regarding Afghanistan has shifted over the past 3 years significantly. Initially, following the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan in mid-August 2021, there was significant attention and support on the humanitarian crisis, and Germany's role in supporting Afghan refugees was significant. The public and political focus was on providing aid in facilitating the resettlement of those fleeing the Taliban regime. However, other issues have taken now priority in the national discourse in Germany. For example, the stabbing of a police officer by an Afghan asylum seeker in Mannheim, for instance, has intensified now debates around asylum policies and security concerns. There also has been a noticeable shift in political landscape within Germany and in Europe generally, with some right-leaning political parties gaining now traction. This shift reflects in public opinion and policy discussions with growing call for stricter immigration controls and more thorough evaluation of asylum seeker. As per reports, Germany is now engaging even in talks with other countries regarding the potential deportation of some asylum seekers, which also highlights a move from a focus of more humanitarian aid to addressing security and integration challenges.
Ahmad Hakimi there from DW's Dari Pashto service. Thank you very much, Ahmad.
Thank you.